Today we're going to walk through the budget process for a new project for renovation. So this is how we take the information that is provided by the data collection team. They collect the information that is sent in with pictures and videos and everything that is sent in to the budget group. And then the budget department from there uses this template to go through and to actually create the budget for the job and add the items to create the budget for the job to build the scope. The top section of this document is really just kind of property information, things like the address, city, state, zip, what market it's in, what year it was built, the number of beds and baths, and the square footage. The beds and bath and square footage is based on the way that we've purchased the property. So if there are changes that we are going to make to that, that will be reflected in some other areas and possibly even in the notes to the right-hand side. Things like lockbox code, who did the estimate, when they did the estimate, who from the budget department actually put together this, what the analyst, who that was, and then who it was reviewed by, what project manager actually reviewed it in the field, took the scope and the budget out and went and reviewed it to verify everything. This sheet is really kind of broken into three sections. The top section is, like I said, the property info, and it also has the roll-up for the entire budget, and we'll talk about how those things are broken out. But it also has a section here that we call the vendor section, which, in kind of simplistic terms, but this is where, when we're building scope for kind of like more turnkey contractors. So if there was something that we needed, as far as you can see here, like landscaping or concrete work or even glass and windows, that's what we're dealing with here in this section, is for those vendors where we're doing more turnkey type of stuff. And as we get into it, you'll see that in this top section, we're really only capturing kind of one cost. We're not breaking it into labor and materials, because in most cases they're supplying both in dealing with these kinds of contractors. The next section below the vendor section, though, is the GC section. And the GC section, you'll notice, has line items where we're actually breaking down materials and we're breaking out labor. So we're actually separating those two items out, because in the terms of the GC, we are really buying their labor, because we are buying the materials through Home Depot. We're getting the materials, so we're just buying their labor. So that's why this section is broken out a little bit differently and kind of created differently, is that when the analysts are going through and creating this, they can take both sides of the equation into account and include a material breakdown, so that we have that, since that's a kind of a separate part of the budget. But those are basically the three sections: the information at the top, and then you get into the vendor section and the GC section. And the next steps, we'll actually start walking through the vendor section and kind of talking about how those things are built in the budget.